2023 started off in the worst possible way. If you've been following the channel for a while, you might have seen all the success stories, the great numbers that we did in the past few months. However, that's not the full story. In fact, 2023 was a year with a lot of ups and downs for my business and my personal life as well. So in this video, I'll make a completely transparent recap of how the past year went by and show you exactly what we had to go through, all the learnings and all the takeaways, of course being 100% real with you guys. So I hope that you enjoy it. I'll start off the video by saying that everyone is used to seeing success stories on Instagram, right? You have everybody posting crazy screenshots, but a lot of that stuff is actually fake. There's a ton of gurus who are just ramping up numbers without doing any profit whatsoever, and almost nobody likes to share their failures just to not be seen in a bad light. But let me tell you, 2023 started off in the worst possible way. I had just moved to the US, I was far away from my team, from my loved ones, from my parents, from my friends, and my business was going down. Everything completely plummeted. So for the people that are new to the channel, I've been running these tours for more than 3.5 years now, and in January, everything completely crashed. We made some completely stupid changes to the store. We changed the theme, it didn't convert, added like 50 new products to the store with no idea on how we're gonna test them and scale them, and of course everything completely flopped. And on top of that, I was spending so much money living in the US and I was pretty much burning through my savings. And for me that was devastating at the time because I was used to making a lot more than what I was spending. What made it even worse is that everybody thought I was crushing it because I had already made like more than 5 million in sales from the store. They were like, bro, you should be grateful, you should enjoy your life and all those good things. But deep inside, I felt like a failure. So back to the story, I was living in Los Angeles, I was spending a lot of my time on college, and by the way, I'm still in college, and I was, traveling left and right, but I was pretty much looking for answers because I was desperate. And back then, my business partner and I were part of a mentorship program for scaling our e-commerce business run by this guy Sebastian Selinski, and he actually gave me some very good advice. So we hopped on a one-on-one call with the guy and he pretty much transformed the way I view e-commerce in general. So I asked him, what would you do if you were to start a completely new brand from scratch? And his answer was, honestly, I wouldn't build another brand if it was not at least an 8 out of 10 opportunity. And that really made me stop and analyze my business for a second, just to realize that I was actually running a 5 out of 10 opportunity at best. The niche was very limited, there's a ton of seasonality, and oftentimes it was very unpredictable, right? We didn't know when we could scale, when you could have good numbers, and also we were just selling a pretty expensive product that nobody actually needs during a recession. So we had limited amount of marketing angles that we could tackle, and also there's little to no room for retention. Like, it's not a consumable, right? It's a giftable item. But don't get me wrong guys, that didn't mean I'm gonna close my store and leave the business. You can pretty much build at least a 7-figure business in whatever niche as long as it's in a big market like the US. But I knew that no matter how hard I worked within this business, I wouldn't be able to scale it to 8 figures per year, which was kind of my goal. So as a guy who wants to continuously grow and expand, it really made me feel stuck. So I knew I had to level up. Because I don't know about you guys, but it really bugs me inside when I do great numbers in one season and the next one is completely horrible. So back to that conversation, it really opened my eyes for two things. First of all, the market is freaking king and you can't control it. No matter how good of a marketer you are, you can't force people to buy your stuff. You can test different marketing angles, you can test different creatives, different offers and all those things. But ultimately, if people don't want to buy your thing and it's out of season, you just can't convince people to buy it, period. And second of all, the only things that actually matter in the long run are your inputs, because the market will reward you eventually. I used to get very upset when I, worked very hard and then the results were not as expected. I wanted to do crazy numbers in previous Q4s and, I would still do decent numbers, but I wouldn't be satisfied, right? Because I didn't reach my goal. However, what matters more, especially if you're young, are the skills and the character that you're building along the way. Because once things are aligned, scaling is freaking easy. Like, it's just all about ramping up budgets. And this momentum won't happen that easily, right? But how you deal with tough situations will eventually determine whether you're gonna be successful or not in the long run. So moving forward, we were preparing a Kickstarter campaign and launch a completely custom product for our brand. But the product development agency that we were working with completely fucked up our project. They didn't meet the deadlines, we couldn't have the samples on time, we couldn't shoot the content. So we pretty much submitted the campaign for approval like 4 days before it was supposed to go live. And we were hyping up people in the emails for like a month. And let me tell you what happened. Kickstarter didn't approve the campaign, it completely flopped, we lost a lot of trust with our customers, and we were back at ground zero because we didn't know how we're gonna move forward, right? Because up to this point, this agency had charged us more than 50K to develop this product, and in our niche, they have like a very big sale day on beginning of May, and we were really hoping that we can leverage this momentum and leverage this trend to crush this Kickstarter launch. What was even worse is that the samples were so bad that even if we did great numbers on the Kickstarter campaign, we had so many production issues that we would later have to figure out. So despite this huge issue, in May we had a great sale day. We did like over 40K in a single day with great profit margins, and by the end of the month we made some decent profit. So in the end of the month, I came back home from the US, we sat down with the team, and we were like, we're either saving this business or we're closing it. And let me tell you what happened. In 4 weeks, we made more progress, more tests, more inputs than the 4 months before that combined. We made a lot of new creatives, we redesigned the whole store, we tested a lot of things on Facebook and hired a lot of new content creators. So summer is usually a pretty dead season for us. However, things were actually doing pretty decent. In July, we hit like more than 10K profit. August was already picking up quite good. And by the end of September, we were already doing more than 10K days. In that period, I had particular occasions when I could literally scale my campaigns 2 times without losing any profitability. And up until this point, I thought that day-to-day ad management and day-to-day media buying is pretty much a waste of time. However, if you're a brand owner who's in a very seasonal niche and there's a lot of trends that you can track, you can literally double your profit by pretty much observing your market, seeing when also Facebook is giving you very good traffic, and scaling up on those particular days. Now there's a lot of more clever ways to do it with manual bidding. I won't go further into that, but to get to my point, I was wrong about always looking at the broad picture. Several times I was able to double my revenue just because I was tracking my daily performance very in depth. So coming into October, we were already doing some serious numbers, and then the goal was to pretty much sustain the high scale and manage cash flow properly. Actually, one of the biggest unlocks that I had was switching to a merchant of record service. It's called Reach, by the way. So in the beginning of Q4, PayPal had completely shut down our account and Stripe had a hefty hold on our balance. So after switching to this service that I mentioned, we finally solved this problem once and for all, and we could scale with no limits. And by that time, I started posting videos on YouTube that I absolutely enjoy creating, just to document how we were pretty much scaling the store in Q4 to very good numbers. You can check out some of the videos on my channel, but long story short, we hit over 100K on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, did over 7 figures in Q4 as a whole, all while making YouTube videos because I absolutely love you guys. So I think in terms of marketing, the thing that made us the most money in Q4 was seasonal messaging across the whole store. What I mean by that is making separate creatives for every holiday occasion. For example, separate creatives for Halloween, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for holiday season in general, and of course for Christmas. Before that, I thought you should completely rely on evergreen direct response creatives, but let me tell you, the seasonal creatives had very low CPMs, the conversion rates were pretty good, and overall they helped us scale even further. I think on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we had like an average cost per click of over $2, and we still made around 20% net profit on the whole Black Friday weekend. And that's just because everything in the marketing funnel, including the landing page and the creatives and the copies, was very congruent. So scaling in Q4 was pretty much stress-free and very consistent. I am glad that we had great communication within the team so that all the creatives and the emails were made in advance and there was pretty much nothing that could surprise us. So our sales peaked in December when we did I think around 400 something K with over 70K in profit, which for me was actually a pretty decent margin considering how expensive our traffic was. I won't go into much details on Q4 because I've put several videos on the channel already, but here's something that most of you guys don't know. I'm not running that brand anymore. That's what I'm gonna say by now, and we'll cover more in a separate video, but what I can tell you is that bigger things are coming. I have huge plans for this YouTube channel and I've already prepared more than 50 videos documenting everything that I've learned throughout my journey from scaling one dropshipping products to more than 7.5 million in sales in just over 3 years. As I'm recording this video, I'm just finishing up college and I can't wait to go into e-com and have you alongside my journey. To be completely honest, I haven't set a lot of goals for 2024 in terms of results, but what I'm gonna be focusing on instead is stacking skills, becoming better at the craft, and as a result, scale another business to serious numbers. If you're a subscriber already, thank you so much for the support you've been giving me. And if you're new to the channel, I'm doing those videos to make e-commerce simple for everybody and not to sell you some sketchy service. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give me a sub, comment, share, all that good stuff. And as always, keep crushing it.